This is CBC Here and Now.
By the end of this month, Harbour Breton will be losing its last permanent doctor, and that's going to leave a huge stretch of this province with no doctor at all.
It's a very, very sad situation that we're in right now, right?
I'm Garrett Berry, and I'll bring you that story coming up on Here and Now.
Roller coaster ride as far as temperatures go this weekend. We go up as we head into Sunday and then drop right back down into Monday.
From 3 to 1. That's the province's proposal for months pharmacy, nursing, and medical schools. The reaction to this plan is coming up.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Peter Cowan.
And I'm Carolyn Stokes. A grim milestone has been reached on the south coast of Newfoundland. At the end of this month, the area will be losing its last permanent doctor.
As Here and Now's Garrett Berry reports, it's leaving a huge geographic area far away from help.
I've been here 20 years on council, and I've never heard of a full diversion.
Even for a co-chair of the local advisory committee, this was a shock.
I think the doctor that they had there, it was going nowhere, and then all of a sudden he resigned, right? So nobody was expecting it.
And now, a region that struggled to attract doctors is in dire straits.
I'm almost 65 years old. I'm very healthy, never, not a burden on the healthcare system. If I had a heart attack tonight, I like to think after 40 years contributing to the economy that I will be looked after. But right now, that's probably not going to be, right?
On April 22nd, this hospital's last permanent doctor will be leaving. It means ambulances will be regularly diverted and sent up the highway to Grand Falls, Windsor, 220 kilometers away.
You had a heart attack, they can do stuff here at the Canadian Peninsula Healthcare Centre to stabilize you with the doctor on site and nurses and get you stable, and then they would transfer you to Grand Falls. But if you're going to go to Grand Falls with not being stable, and no one knows what the outcome might be. It certainly don't look good in my eyes, right? We're
by ourselves now, and it's a 2.5-hour drive. No cell service. Thank God the weather's getting better. But this was happening in December and January. It'd be even more scarier. Sometimes you can't get past the Equine.
As far as rural communities go, Harbour Breton is a fairly industrial area. There's a fish plant here. There's a fishery that runs out of here, and aquaculture sites are pretty close by too. The mayor of Harbour Breton wonders how you're going to grow industry if you can't offer complete medical service in your town.
Definitely, it's going to become more difficult to attract people here.
In nearby Hermitage, it's the same story.
Other than the St. John's, this place down here in the south coast is the busiest place on the island. I mean, you got 200 and 300 aquaculture employees every day. There's 14 to 15 transport trucks every day coming out of this little town of 400 people.
And for all that's been said about attracting fish farms and their jobs to this rural area, how do you think they feel about the lack of emergency services?
It's got to be a big concern on a day-to-day basis if they have an accident. I mean, nobody knows when that's going to happen because, divers get the bins and stuff like that, right? So, it's a scary situation for them as well.
Central Health says it's working to recruit physicians, both full-time doctors and locums, temporary fill-ins. There have been vacancies in this region for a while, but now, all of a sudden, it's become much more urgent. Garrett Berry, CBC News, Harbour Breton.
Well, Central Health tells CBC it is continuing to try to recruit new doctors for this area and others in the province with vacancies.
I've said this week that I really feel optimistic that we're seeing a turning point in terms of, having the tools to be able to go recruit healthcare providers to come back to the province. And we have recruited some physicians recently. We just this week had a physician start in Springdale. A sigh of relief in that, and so we're really trying to get a group of physicians to come to the Canadian Peninsula so that we can avoid virtual and diversion of service.
Well, still with healthcare, yesterday's provincial budget outlined a plan to consolidate 3 of Memorial University's faculties, the School of Nursing, Pharmacy, and Medicine. So they'd be merged into one health faculty, but the university is warning that's not a done deal. Here now's Henrika Wilhelm explains.
They're already in the same spot, and 3 might soon become 1 if the provincial government's plan becomes reality.
I think it will be welcome at Memorial University to have a comprehensive medical program.
The Education Department says some members of the university's executive were contacted about the plans, but the university's president says she had no idea prior to yesterday's budget speech. The president stresses that the university has the last say.
It is very important that the university autonomy around academic programs be upheld. That is sacred to the university's mission.
And she says there are reasons for and against a joint health faculty.
The benefits of having any departments working together is the cross-fertilization of knowledge, of research. So I definitely see the benefits. There are challenges too. For example, each discipline, people are attached to their discipline. They're very focused. They train within their discipline. And so we want to make sure we still keep the capacity to make sure our nursing students get well trained in the nursing profession, and that is a profession that they are committed and loyal to. And so for nursing students, that's important. Same for pharmacy students. It is a distinct discipline with its own knowledge base. So to get that balance will be tricky.
The province's nurses union wonders where CNA's healthcare programs fit in this model, but says the approach has obvious benefits.
We're cautiously optimistic that this will create more of a team-based approach to healthcare by having them all under the one heading, the one school, and that each group will not be in silo anymore, but trained in a team-based approach, which is what we are aiming for when we talk about primary healthcare models.
Osborne thinks progress could be made this year or next, but Timmins says she can't discuss timelines yet. She will now have talks with the faculty deans to figure out whether the province's vision of one health faculty could become reality. Henrike Wilhelm, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, now to some details on COVID from today. There have been 2 more deaths due to COVID-19 in the province since Wednesday. In the public health's latest update, they say 41 people are in hospital due to the virus. Now that's down from a record high on Wednesday. 5 are in critical care, and they've confirmed another 676 new positive tests in the last 2 days.
Nice treat today. Saw some sunshine in the metro area. Didn't think we'd see that today, so that was certainly nice. Ridge of high pressure in place at the moment. You can see some of that higher cloud cover starting to move in now. That's ahead of our next weather maker that's over Ontario and headed towards the maritime provinces as we speak. And we're going to continue to see that increasing cloud as we head through the night tonight. Now, Environment Canada has issued a wreck house warning. That is for the overnight and into the first half of tomorrow, where you're going to see those winds gusting about 120 kilometers per hour. You can see those winds gusting about 30 to 50 right now, but they will continue to increase. Now, we are going to see those winds increase as well for the St. John's area, but not until tomorrow night. That's when the system really starts to get a little bit closer. And if you're planning on heading out tomorrow, the best time to do it would be in the morning and early afternoon before that rain starts to move in. Temperatures are going to climb, though, and even more so as we head into Sunday. I'll have the full forecast coming up.
While the province is promising free bus passes for low-income seniors in the latest budget, but the City of St. John says that may not happen because the province doesn't want to pay the full cost. For 2 years, people receiving income support have received a free bus pass. That program costs $2.1 million a year. St. John City Councillor Ian Froud says the province wants to give out more passes to more people, but pay less. The budget allocates just $1.9 million. He says they need to pay the full amount to make up for that lost revenue.
It's extremely frustrated to see it. I wasn't surprised on the figure because it has been something that they've been pushing us to agree to, but because we hadn't agreed, I didn't expect it to come as part of the budget. So when I saw it, I was very disappointed and frustrated because I know the value that this provides the community, the value it provides the public transit service and the province.
Well, some communities are celebrating the news that they're getting new schools. Student enrollment is up for the first time in 5 decades, so more schools will be built. Here now's Meg Roberts has that reaction for us tonight. So Meg, let's recap where those schools are going.
There are 3 new schools planned for the province, one in Portugal Cove St. Philip's, Cartwright, and Kenmount Terrace. Now, the government's expecting an increase of about 1,000 students this year. Over the last decade, the province has seen a decrease of about 500 students annually. So the government is chalking the increase up to people moving back home to Newfoundland and Labrador from other provinces. COVID-19 and this ability to work virtually potentially has played a part in that. And also there's been an influx of newcomers, including 84 Afghan refugee students. And the minister says in order to make way for those students, there has to be more space. Here's a clip of the education minister outlining those plans.
This year's budget has funding for planning for those schools to get a better understanding through transportation and infrastructure, what the schools would look like, the needs in the schools in terms of enrollment numbers and what the costs of the schools will look like. And I guess, the actual funding for construction of the school will be followed in next year or subsequent budgets.
The education minister says these were communities that were identified by the English School District. Now, I spoke with some residents in Portugal Cove St. Philip's today who say a new high school is a long time coming, as they've seen an influx of residents settle in the area over the past decade. Now, the community currently has an elementary and intermediate school, but kids have to be bused from St. John's for high school. Cynthia Oliver, a longtime resident, remembers her children getting on the bus to go to St. John's. Now, picking up her grandson Braden today, she's excited he might get to go to high school a little bit closer to her.
But when they used to go to St. John's, they'd be up on the side of the road waiting for the bus to come, and by the time they got to school, it was cold, it was exhausting, and getting up earlier in the mornings and things like that made a big difference going to St. John's.
Me personally, I like this community and I want to stay in it.
He'll go to the newer school, so it's all in the community, so it's great. It's great.
The mayor of Portugal Cove St. Philip's says she wasn't aware this would be announced in the budget and so far has little details, but she's been campaigning for a new high school and is excited to start those first steps. She says there's land she would like to see the school built on, but wants to make sure the community has say in the decision.
It just means everything to me. I know the people at Portugal Cove St. Philip's are excited, or they should be. We've got 2 beautiful schools here, and now we're going to complete it with a high school.
The teaching services budget will increase by $11.6 million. That includes a little more than $3 million to meet demands associated with that increased enrollment, as well as funding for substitute teachers and guidance counselors. The Newfoundland and Labrador Teachers Association says those services are essential as COVID-19 was extremely tough on students' mental health. There is 1 guidance counselor for every 500 students right now, which the association believes isn't enough. The NLTA was also hoping to have seen more emphasis on recruiting and retaining teachers. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Meg Roberts for Here and Now.
Well, the lifting of a moratorium on wind power development this week is drawing mixed reviews. While being lauded as a move in the right direction, the timing of the announcement, 2 days before the Bay du Nord oil project was approved, is being questioned. Troy Turner has this report.
Nick Mercer has been studying wind power for more than a decade. So when he heard the 15-year moratorium on development of wind power was over, he was pleased. But he said the timing of the announcement was suspect.
In the short term, I'm very pleased that the path is easing for wind energy development here in the province. But in the long term, I'm very extremely concerned about the decisions we continue to make collectively and how that's setting us up for the tensions that's creating for the massive transformational change we need to ensure a climate safe future.
In recent weeks, groups in the province have replaced fossil fuels with the word energy. The industry association, formerly known as the Newfoundland and Labrador Oil and Gas Industry Association, has been rebranded. and the Canada, Newfoundland and Labrador Offshore Petroleum Board, or the CNLOPB, which was created in 1996 as part of the Atlantic Accord, will now be called the Energy Board.
I feel to some sense that lipstick is being put on a pig here, and that we're really trying to create a new brand as a really positive energy force in the world, while we continue to make the decisions which threaten our future.
Retired politician Kevin Aylward is part owner of Beothic Energy, who are hoping to develop offshore wind in the Bay St. George area.
This can be a job creator, a private sector investment, capital coming into the province that can create brand new jobs here, and also the existing workforce can be used. And the other thing is that you don't have to sell the power to the grid. The new game changer part of the market is that you can create hydrogen with wind power.
Aylward is hoping to see wind power development in the Bay St. George area in the near future. Troy Turner, CBC News, Pasadena.
What do you got? Bang, and away they go, and he caught them both.
Well, that's Team Guju. They continue to fight for top spot at the World Curling Championships in Las Vegas. Team Canada has dropped 2 games in 2 days, but they bounced back this afternoon with a win over Scotland. The Newfoundland and Labrador rink has qualified for the playoffs, and if they beat Denmark tonight, they would be the top-seeded team, which means Team Guju would move straight into Saturday's semifinals.
Well, it's definitely going to be an unsettled weekend. We're looking at a warm-up, but then temperatures drop on Monday and some snow is in the forecast for parts of the province. I'll have that detail coming up.
This weather update is brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation Home Lottery. Bonus deadline is midnight tonight. Order tickets now at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Well, for the second time in 2 weeks, the RCMP on Fogo Island are warning residents that a polar bear has been seen hanging around.
And police say that the province's wildlife officers have been called in and that residents should steer clear of the area North Side Road due to heavy traffic congestion.
Yes, and of course, steer clear if you see any polar bears. And actually, earlier this week, we had another report. Remember that amazing story, actually, about the woman on the Northern Peninsula? A polar bear came up to her door and tried to get in the house. So I guess it's polar bear season now.
It is, and the reason for that is the ice. Ooh. And we're seeing lots of that ice start to move down. We're also seeing lots of icebergs, which is nice. But let's take a look at where the ice is right now. This is the latest analysis from Environment Climate Change Canada, and you can see all of that ice making its way further south, and that will generally continue because we've got these winds that are onshore, and that is leading to all of that ice heading further south. So right now, temperatures, today, temperatures all along the coast much cooler thanks to that. So 0 degrees in St. Anthony this afternoon. Temperatures warmed up a little bit above where I had the forecast yesterday for St. John's, 4 degrees. So that was certainly nice. Same thing for Terra Nova. The warmest temperatures found, though, to the south. Marystown saw a high near 9 degrees today. Corner Brook and Stephenville at 7. Temperatures even up across Labrador. Quite nice for this time of year. 4 degrees in Happy Valley, Goose Bay. That's above where you should be sitting. So ridge of high pressure in place, some sunshine, some high cloud moving in now thanks to that next system that's going to move in. And that will be our weather maker for a good chunk of the weekend. But like I said, that cloud cover is now moved in. Live look at the harbor down to 1 degree and it's feeling more like -3 with that wind chill. Winds not a whole lot to talk about out of the north, about 17 kilometers per hour, but those winds will ramp up as that system continues to track towards the province tonight and into tomorrow. Taking a look at the temperatures across the board as you head towards the west coast, much nicer, 6-7 degrees, bit of a wind chill though, feeling more like 3 or 4 degrees. And then up across Labrador, the coolest at this point is in Nain, feeling more like -9 with that wind chill. So temperatures tonight are going to dip. They should sit below 0 for a good chunk of Labrador as well as the Northern Peninsula and even across the island. Now as those skies clear out tonight, temperatures should dip into the -single digits. Winds will ease as well. That'll help those temperatures drop. But as you head towards the west coast, they will be out of the southeast between 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. And again, the wreck house area will see those winds really increase as we head towards the early morning hours and through tomorrow afternoon with the wreck house warning in place. You're looking at those gusts about 120 kilometers per hour. So taking a look at the future tracker, most of the weather tonight will be for Labrador, particularly Lab West, and then head towards central Labrador as we get to 2-3 in the morning. And then we're looking at increasing cloud for the southwest where you could see some showers or freezing rain, and that's because those temperatures are going to be a bit cooler. Likely inland in those higher elevations is the best chance to see that freezing rain, but that's certainly possible. And as the system continues to move in, we've got that colder air to deal with tonight and in through the first half of tomorrow. A good chunk of us could be seeing freezing rain. Now, how long that sticks around, temperatures likely along the coast in that onshore flow will stay a little bit cooler, but we could see the freezing rain stick around a little bit. Not anticipating too much in the way of accumulation, but that should change over to showers, which will be heavy at times into the evening hours for the eastern half of the island on Saturday. Coastal areas of Labrador, you're looking at some snow, but that will end as well as we get into the afternoon on Saturday. As far as rainfall amounts go, it does look like the eastern half of the island will see the most. 10-20 millimeters is possible, significantly less as you head towards the coast, and then up across Labrador that should all fall as some snow or flurries. You're looking at about 5 to 10 centimeters for the west coast and even western Labrador rather, and through central Labrador as well. Tomorrow, temperatures should sit around 2 degrees for St. John's into the afternoon, so we should see that transition to rain. They will continue to warm up, though, as we head into the evening and overnight, and those winds will ramp up as well. So southeasterlies 30 to 50, but you could see gusts a little bit higher than that as you head towards the evening hours, particularly towards the coast. between 3 to 5 degrees through central, and then same thing as you head towards the west coast. Definitely looking at that rain through the day. The winds out of the southeast between 30 to 60 kilometers per hour. Now, temperatures for the northern peninsula will hover around the 0 degree mark, so flurries, maybe even some freezing rain in the mix for you. And then coastal areas of Labrador, like I said, you're hovering around 1 or 2 degrees, but you're still looking at that potential for snow for a good chunk of the afternoon. Now, we're looking at the potential for some snow again on Monday for parts of the island. I'll break that forecast down when I come back.
The provincial budget is promising more people will get free bus passes this year. The government says seniors who receive the guaranteed income supplement, as well as youth in care, are going to get bus passes. But the City of St. John's is warning that there's still a problem. It hasn't agreed to that yet. Ian Froud is a councillor and sits on the Transportation Commission. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So what is at the heart of the dispute between you and the province about this program?
Sure, the heart of it is really $200,000. We want to continue with this program, but we need it to be for the cost of the program of $2.1 million. So we've been in conversations for quite some time and negotiating and hoping for the program to continue, but that's the crux of the matter.
Okay, so this program has been costing $2.1 million a year because right now they've been offering it to people who are on income support. The province is essentially wants to add some more people. What sort of rationale have they given you about why they want to be able to add more people while at the same time reducing the cost of the program?
Yeah, this program's been around for a couple of years and it's been quite successful from my perspective. 5,600 people in St. John's, Mount Pearl and Paradise are using it on a monthly basis, which I think is quite substantial. And we're agreeable to these other groups being added. It's unclear why they're pushing on lowering it and why they announced a partnership that hadn't been agreed to by the other key partner in their budget yesterday. I think part of it is that they expected additional people to be participating because the way the contract was structured, we agreed to up to 10,000 individuals to be a part of the program. 5,600 have been participating. So I think they're trying to push us down on cost because of that difference. But our contestation of that is that we're still in pandemic times where the ridership over the last couple of years has not been what it is normally. We also encourage you to get these other people on public transit. It's good for them as individuals, good for the system, and good for the province. And then we agreed to the addition of these other people, seniors on GIS and youth in care, and we agreed to that under $2.1 million. We still have the exposure from our calculations of up to $2.1 million in revenue loss due to this program. So we can't take on any additional risk than is currently within that figure.
So where do things stand with the negotiations, and what happens if you and the province can't agree on a number?
Well, we've made clear to the province as late as yesterday and over the past few months that the cost of the program is $2.1 million. If the province can't come on board with that, the program unfortunately doesn't have a future, which is extremely disappointing for us and I think for the community and for the province. In order for this program to exist, the city, of course, subsidizes public transit in the city, but on a per pass basis, over all of those 5,000 to 6,000 people, the city is putting in about $6 to $6.5 million that enables this program to exist, and we're hoping the province will pay their portion. I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping they change their mind on the figure and we can move forward on the $2.1 million. We as Metrobus and as a city with diesel prices where they are and general inflation have incredible pressure on public transit budget in the city, and we can't eat another $200,000 or $300,000 that's required to come in online with what the province announced yesterday.
So what is the deadline? When do you have to reach this agreement in order for this program to not expire?
Well, technically, the province's fiscal year ended 9 days ago, at the end of March. There was an extension of a month or two to the program as we get through this negotiation period. But I don't expect, if the province doesn't agree to it going forward, I think the program will end in a couple of months' time.
Well, Councillor Ian Froud, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, what's the province saying? It insists that it has negotiated a new rate with the city. A spokesperson for the Department of Children, Seniors and Social Development says they are committed to continuing to work with the city to roll out the bus pass program for this year.
Everyone is feeling the pinch, especially with the rising cost of food. It just comes with the rising number of people who are availing of the food bank.
After the break, we will take you inside a St. John's Community Centre to see how rising food costs are affecting operations. The rising cost of food is making it harder to keep meal programs running, programs that many communities depend on.
The McMorran Community Centre in St. John serves hot food several times a week, but the grocery bill for those meals is ticking up, while more people than ever are sitting down at their tables.
Here and now, Zach Gowdy visited the centre.
Mac and cheese, always a crowd pleaser. But at McMorran Community Centre, it's on the menu for another reason.
Well, we do a lot of casserole type dishes for larger groups, you know, easier to serve and cheaper, of course.
The McMorran Community Centre does a hot lunch for seniors every other Wednesday and an Everyone's Welcome meal on Fridays. They also run a small food bank, and all their food programs are busier than ever.
Everyone is feeling the pinch, especially with the rising cost of food. It just comes with the rising number of people who are availing of the food bank. Before the pandemic began, we were averaging probably 35 to 37 people a month. And just last week, we did up our statistics for the past 3 or 4 months, and we noticed that our numbers are up to 87 people.
The center gets most of that food from the Community Food Sharing Association, but some, especially for the hot meals, they have to shop for. And that's been getting harder with every trip to the grocery store.
I've seen quite an increase in all the items I typically buy, including the bread that's gone up. It used to be $1.99, for example, and on Monday I went out and got it, and the exact same bread, $2.49. So, you know, when you're buying probably 30 loaves, that's a little bit more, you know?
The price of food has been rising right across the country, but nowhere more so than here in Newfoundland and Labrador. In the last 12 months, the price of food purchased from stores has gone up 9%. That's higher than any other province and a fair bit higher than the Canadian average of 7.5%.
Essentially every ingredient in this meal now costs an extra dime on every dollar. And at community centers like this, those dollars are already stretched to the limit.
We're definitely having to change the way we're doing things. I mean, sometimes it's not going to be super healthy or fresh, you know. We don't have a lot of fresh veggies that we serve here, you know, because it's just totally out of our budget.
We look for the deals. We're bargain hunters here. That's the kind of compromises that people got to make and that we got to make here as an organization as well.
The folks who come for these meals know as well as anyone that the food on their plates is getting more expensive to provide. They're grateful for the help and a little worried about what could happen to it if the price of food keeps going up.
I think they are very worried about how expensive food is getting, catapulting. And here we guaranteed an excellent meal. It's a treat, really.
You can't afford to make the meals I made years ago. I had 8 children, so I knew what it was to save and everything, but you can't do that today. It's just too expensive.
Zach Gowdy, CBC News, St. John's.
A stable in Nova Scotia is offering up an innovative program for women who have served in the military or the RCMP. It's called Spirit, and it uses horses and the healers. The CBC's Colleen Jones has that story.
At Rowan Wood Stables in Morden, outside of Aylesford, horses are more than just a pretty face and more than just something to ride. Welcome to horse therapy. It's not therapy for the horse, rather humans. People won't ride the horse in this program, rather they're presented with challenges. They have to think outside the box and add some teamwork. You try putting a halter on a horse with one hand and 2 people.
Well, it taught me a little bit of patience and perseverance. We can move mountains.
Veronica Moody and Diane Newman are both ex-military. They'll take part in an 18-month program called Spirit for women who served in the military or RCMP. The next challenge they're facing, get 2 of the horses into this makeshift box without touching them.
We have to have king in that box.
Which sounds easy.
Yeah.
But
it's not.
Michelle McIsaac's a social worker. She's excited about the program, sponsored by Veterans Affairs. It gives women the time and space to unpack any baggage they're hanging on to, from PTSD or trauma.
If there's been a relationship injury sustained during that work, it really impacts somebody's ability to reconnect to the larger community, to move on after they've left the military. And so this, we hope, is a way to connect people and to provide that opportunity to reconnect with folks they might have met in the past.
Either Joe or King.
Elisa Q owns Rowan Wood Stables. Specializing in equine therapy, she knows full well the healing power of horses. Diane retired a little before COVID, and then her folks passed away. She feels the Spirit program can recharge her spirit.
Learning to ask for help is really important, you know. I'm so used to having to,
I was conditioned not to ask for help. You know, you tough it out, you do it, you know, I got this, you know, good to go.
Well, I think the horses really act as a mirror for the patterns that we have. We can't help but our stuff play out as they're playing in the background there. It's really fascinating to see. They're naturally grounding as well.
There are still openings in the program. It begins next month. Colleen Jones, CBC News, Morden.
A missile attack on a train station in Ukraine has killed at least 50 people. Dozens are injured. The attack has led to new accusations Russia is targeting civilians. And it comes as Ukraine gets more help from neighboring countries. CBC's Katie Simpson has those details.
Kramatorsk has one of eastern Ukraine's busiest train stations. Thousands have used this location to start their journey to safety, including these evacuees who made it out just yesterday. Some 4,000 people were at the station at the time of the attack. Unverified footage posted on Twitter appears to show survivors running for cover. The injured scream for help. Bodies of the dead and their suitcases now strewn across the platform. There were many killed and injured here, says this man. The cars were still on fire when he arrived. It was hell on earth, he says. Among the dozens of dead, several children. Bloodied belongings of little ones are left behind, along with a message from Russia spray-painted on the side of the missile. For the children, it says. During an address to Finnish lawmakers, Ukraine's president called this yet another direct attack on civilians. Russian forces hit an ordinary train station, ordinary people. There were no military personnel there, he says. A Kremlin spokesperson denied Russia is responsible for the attack, a claim widely denounced as a lie. Ukraine is about to get some added protection. Slovakia is supplying it with a new air defense system, while the U.S. is promising to backfill Slovakia. The more help, the better, from the perspective of these young Ukrainian men. They've been making Molotov cocktails to help with the war effort and are expecting to be called to the front lines any day now, insisting they're not scared. We feel confident in the future and the future of our country, he says. Russia is increasing its attacks on the south and east as it tries to regroup after losing thousands of soldiers in its failed attempt to capture the capital. That is why people in the south and east are being urged to get out while they can, if they can. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Lviv.
Well, our next story is something a little less than zen. It's yoga, but it's mixed with a little rage.
Yes, it's far from your traditional yoga class. The Edmonton-based founder came up with it after a bad breakup.
And they found it useful to work through negative feelings and emotions. Take a look.
Give yourself a nice yeah. Yeah. I'd like to tell people it's for the misfits and anarchists of the yoga world. It's a place where you can very much come as you are. You know, you can come angry or sad. You can be having the best day ever too. Rage yoga is not about like working yourself up into a temper tantrum for the sake of being angry, but it's a place where you can definitely be loud and honestly yourself. If you have taken yoga before, you will find that a rage yoga class is surprisingly like similar in a lot of ways. We are going to have way more vocal releases, probably a very different soundtrack than what you're accustomed to. You will probably hear some words. Exhale like, hell yeah.
Generally, either people love it or they hate it, one or the other. We're not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay.
How did you come up with the idea? Very cliche, but it was a breakup. It was a really bad breakup, and suddenly my personal practice was getting a little loud and messy, and at first I thought that meant that I was doing yoga wrong. But then it ended up being a pretty useful tool for me. You know, as I said, it's a place where you can come exactly as you are. And for me, for a while, that meant being loud and messy, swearing some, maybe crying a bit. And it ended up being a very powerful tool for me to kind of dismantle uncomfortable feelings and emotions and turn them into something more productive.
I really love yoga, and I'm also a big believer in not taking things too seriously. So I think this combines the both of those. It's awesome. Very giggly, very silly. You're left feeling very positive and like you've actually let something go, both physically and mentally.
Everything super serious about like traditional yoga, that has to be by the book and very quiet unless the instructor's speaking, and all the, the rigid decorum kind of goes out the window, and I like that. I can appreciate somebody who doesn't take it too seriously.
We're heading into the weekend. Let's recognize a few people celebrating. It's a 58th anniversary greetings for Melvin and Ruby King of Grand Falls, Windsor. It's also a 58th anniversary for Warwick and Naomi Toop of Clarenville. Must be on a roll because it's another 58th anniversary celebration, this one for Wilson and Madeline Gillard of Twillingate. Happy 61st anniversary to Herb and Mildred Park of Margaree. Happy 51st anniversary to Gerald and Barbara Curran of Grand Falls, Windsor.
Best wishes to Wade and Judy Peddle of Lethbridge, who are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. Congratulations to Ida and Wes Thompson of Botwood. It's their 61st anniversary. Wishing Bill and Shirley Butler a happy 54th anniversary. Scott and Geraldine Stagg from Lumsden are celebrating their 50th anniversary. Happy 55th anniversary to Alvin and Bride Moland of Gander.
Happy wedding anniversary to Hedley and Evelyn Reed, who are celebrating 53 years together. Happy 50th anniversary to Betty and Terry Stead of Howley. Congratulations to Joseph and Florence Hopkins of Greens Harbour, who celebrated their 69th wedding anniversary this week. Happy 50th anniversary to Roy and Donna Haynes of Cornerbrook. Best wishes to Walter and Lynn Quinlan, who are celebrating their 50th anniversary.
Happy 64th anniversary to Wilson and Audrey Stoyles of Goobies. Happy 60th anniversary to Douglas and Phyllis Small of Morton's Harbour, now living in Clarenville. Happy anniversary to my former neighbors, actually Ray and Linda Patzold of Mount Pearl. They're celebrating 51 years together. Congratulations. Happy 65th anniversary to Norm and Rita Collins of Hare Bay, now living in Glovertown. 50th anniversary greetings going out to Ben and Marion Bunnell.
Congratulations to Everett and Joy Brett of Joe Bat's Arm on their 53rd anniversary. Happy 64th anniversary to Gordon and Reby Fifield of Dildo. Best wishes to Roy and Elizabeth Taylor of Harbour Breton on their 53rd anniversary. It's also a 53rd anniversary for Cecil and Matilda Jock of Postville. We're told they watch Here and Now every evening. Thanks for that. Wishing a happy 55th wedding anniversary to Norbert and Mary Lou Dwyer of Paradise.
Anniversary greetings going out to Gordon and Cora Brown of St. Louis, Labrador on their 50th anniversary. Happy 51st anniversary to Don and Elsie Dove of Deer Lake. Best wishes to Cecil and Florence Gilbert from Bishop's Falls, now living in Grand Falls, Windsor. It's their 60th anniversary. Happy 53rd anniversary to Hardy and Myrtle Penny from Little Seldom, Fogo Island.
Happy 52nd anniversary to John and Betty Newman of Boyd's Cove. Anniversary greetings going out to Freeman and Leona Rideout of Seal Cove, Fortune Bay, who are celebrating their 65th anniversary. Happy 67th anniversary to Gerald and Edna Hodder of Main Point, Gander Bay. And here is a milestone. Happy 75th wedding anniversary tomorrow to Rod and Fran Dion of St. John's. Congratulations.
Wow, now to some birthdays. Happy 90th birthday to Phyllis Gard of Springdale. Happy 92nd birthday to Roger Short from Deer Lake. Wishing Camille Bruce a happy 95th birthday. Happy 92nd birthday to Shirley Parsons of Hare Bay, now living in Paradise. Wishing George Mugford of Cornerbrook a happy 93rd birthday today.
Best wishes to Vera Scott of Paradise on her 90th birthday. Ronald O'Brien of Lansaloo is celebrating his 91st birthday with a big friend there. Birthday greetings going out to Rachel Party from Wild Cove, White Bay. She turns 94 tomorrow. And we're going to end with a big one. Happy 102nd birthday to Audrey Boone of Topsail, now living in Admiral's Cove. She celebrates this big milestone on Tuesday.
Well, another fine crowd. Congratulations once again to everyone who's celebrating. And I'm celebrating that it's the weekend.
I was like, you are?
Yes. And Sunday is looking like it's could be mild.
Yep. I've been hinting at the fact that we're going to see some mild temperatures on Sunday, and I hope that that forecast pans out because
me too.
We've been looking forward to them for sure. Let's take a look at what's going to happen. Now, things are going to be unsettled Saturday evening. We will see some showers roll through, and then it should set the stage for at least
a couple of hours of some nice weather on Sunday morning, and then we'll see some milder temperatures as well. Now the rain will move in as we head towards the evening hours, and that will likely be heavy at times for some areas. There's the temperatures, 9-10 degrees for some areas. And that's if we see that sunshine peak out for a few hours. But overall, we do have some warmer air in place, so it's definitely possible. Up across Labrador, those temperatures will be sitting in the just barely above zero, between 2 to about 4 degrees. Nicest weather will actually be up across Nain with some sunshine through the afternoon. But this system is going to move in, and the temperatures are going to cool down as we head through Sunday night into Monday morning, quite dramatically actually. And there is the potential that we will see some accumulating snow overnight Sunday into Monday morning for a good chunk of the island. This will depend on the track of the system. Obviously, there's a bit of a disagreement, but that risk is certainly there. When I'm talking about accumulating snow, I'm talking about 10 plus centimeters possible through the day Sunday and then into Monday. And then we get back into that onshore flow, those cooler temperatures, so the risk of some flurries will continue right into Tuesday, it looks like, for those areas along the coast of the island. And then same thing even into Wednesday morning. So unfortunately, those temperatures will dip back down. We're looking at about 2 to 4 degrees through the day on Monday. Same thing up across Labrador, and with the potential for some flurries and or light snow for you as well. Now, as we get through the middle of next week, temperatures should stay in the single digits. Gonna be unsettled though, it looks like, through Wednesday, with a chance of showers or flurries through a good chunk of the day. Now for central Newfoundland, you're looking at a similar forecast. Temperatures between 4 to 6 degrees, a little cooler for western Newfoundland to start the week, but you should warm up to about 4 to 6 degrees through the day. And overnight lows dipping into the minus single digits. Again, showers or flurries, the story for you. For eastern Labrador, by the time we get into Wednesday, it looks like we'll see some sunshine, and same thing for western Labrador. However, there is still the chance of a few flurries in the forecast for you, but temperatures should be above zero right through Wednesday. Now, this was a beautiful day. Sandbanks Park this morning. Karen shared this photo on Twitter. I love it when she shares photos like that.
Oh, yeah.
They are certainly wonderful. And if you have any great shots that you would like to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
It gives me hope that maybe there is a beach day in my future. I know it's not now, but one day.
There's at least one. Just kidding. There's lots more than that. I want to get down to Sandbanks so bad. It's so nice down there.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Just make sure you get there for the one nice beach day.
Right. Well, that's what she was saying. She's like, 2 days in a row, it's been beautiful. That doesn't happen very often, but you get those northerly winds, and it does, certainly along the south coast.
It's coming. And I guess this ends quite a busy news week. Hey, we had the Bay du Nord announcement, 2 budgets, provincial budget, federal budget. So it's been quite the week.
I'm hoping for a nice quieter week next week. You know, a nice little change.
Yep. Still more reaction, no doubt, from the budget coming next week as well. So, yeah.
Well, that's it for us, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend.
Good night.
Good night.